not a good start at the Golden Globes, I would say. But then again, I think now we have to assume, now we have to look at this past Golden Globes and last year's Golden Globes to understand now what could actually win at the Golden Globes for next year's, because they're not the same as they used to. Oh well, but that was a bad night for Anora, I will say. But can the movie redeem something here or not? Or will this type of voters will just copy the exact same winners almost as the Golden Globes, as they always do, especially on the TV side? And that is, of course, ironically enough, the 30th Annual Critics' Choice Awards, honoring, of course, both the film and television sides. But, of course, we do not do television, of course, here. And if you do want to check out, of course, the 30th Critics' Choice, which I won't, it will be, oddly enough, on E! On Sunday, or Peacock for streaming platforms. So it's odd that E! is airing that ceremony. Your host of the evening, once again, will be Chelsea Handler. She has probably been doing well for the Broadcast Film Critics Association. Now, the reason I kind of mentioned that they kind of like to copy the Globes, because that's what the Critics' Choice are, because these are not legit critics. And obviously you can tell this with the nominations, because they're just Oscar predictors, let alone 8 of the nominees for Best Director. I mean, seriously. Like, you can understand the 6, but really 8 for Director? I just don't know. And this is also a ceremony that's also notable for having a lot of ties in common, not so much in other award shows, to be precise. The Oscars is always kind of more of a surprise. So yeah, that's the reason we're going to be predicting all the categories. I won't be showing you the categories on the video itself, like the categories specifically like I did with the Globes video, mostly because I have a lot of other things to do, so I wouldn't have the time to do so. But that will be kind of coming back when we do the BAFTA nomination and the Oscar nomination predictions videos throughout. Man, this almost weekend. I can't believe we're almost close to Oscar nominations day. Now, when it comes to my predictions here, obviously, I will be saying in a couple of categories, this is what they should be voting for as critics, but what they're actually going to go for as Oscar predictors, or just copying the Golden Globes. And keep in mind, once again, I am only doing movies instead of TV. So we're going to start this up with Best Original Song. This is going to be El Mal. I feel like there's probably no competition whatsoever. Best Hair and Makeup, this is going to be The Substance, and I think this is definitely really going to help, especially with Demi Moore's now entering in the Best Actress race. Best Costume Design, I am going with Wicked, and same thing with Production Design. I feel like Wicked is also going to be taking this out of the victory here. Best Score. Now, this one, I think it is kind of tough here, because I don't think the Critics' Choice are going to go with challengers here. I almost thought I was going to say Wicked, but Wicked's not here, because that would be something Critics' Choice would actually do. I could be looking at The Brutalist or Conclave, but I gotta remember this, that sometimes the Critics' Choice usually doesn't go with something that most of the time doesn't go at the Oscars, whether if it's ineligible or if it doesn't even make it in the Oscar nominations, like First Man in Babylon, and for ineligibility ones like Tar a few years back. I think they could do Dune Part 2 here, but I don't know how much they are going to do it. I think because since they took to the movie that bunch of nominations, I'm going to go with Conclave. I almost want to say Dune Part 2, but I'm going to go with Conclave here. Speaking of Dune Part 2, Best Visual Effects, yeah, that's Dune Part 2's award to lose. Film Editing, I am also going to go with Dune Part 2 here as well. I feel like that might be more of the safer bet. I could see them going something like Challengers or September 5th, but they're not in this picture, because they have given this to Baby Driver, of course, tying in with Dunkirk. Anora could be a possibility. The Brutalist might be what they should be picking, especially the 3.5 hour status, or Anora. But I'm going to go with the safer bet and say Dune Part 2. Cinematography, I'm also going to go with safe and say The Brutalist here. Critics might say, they could go any way. They might, I could see them, they should be going with Dune Part 2, but I think, Nickel Boys could be an inspiration, Nosferatu could be an inspiration, but I think they're going to go with The Brutalist on this one. Onto the 3 featured film categories. Best Comedy, since they have their own documentary awards. I think this is easily going to be a real pain here, since obviously it's not a Best Picture, but since it does have the love for Kieran Culkin and for original screenplay, I do think a real pain is definitely going to make it in. I believe this is the first time if I'm correct, this is no Best Picture nominees are in this category for the first time, I believe. Yeah, no picture nominees, so that's a little bit of changement. So if they are not in Best Picture, they go in Best Comedy, I guess. So Real Pain, I'm going to go with that. This could be a Deadpool and Wolverine thing, but I think this, what they would be going for is a Real Pain specifically. Best Foreign Language Film, Emilia Perez. I think what they should be going for as critics, either All We Imagine Is Light or I'm Still Here, or even Kneecap, but I think they're going to go with a safer bet, especially since Emilia Perez is in Best Picture. And like with Foreign Language Film for Best Animated Feature, I think they should be going with Flow, especially after the surprising win of the Golden Globes. But I think they are going to go with the safer bet and say The Wild Robot, since it does show up, of course, still in the music categories, even though apparently that didn't really matter for the Globes. Best Acting Ensemble, obviously this is not going to have a connection, of course, most of the times with SAG, but I think they are going to give this to Wicked, because I feel like that's probably the safer bet here, because I think that's going to be a done deal there, and I think that's probably going to be the big award they're going to give to Wicked too, kind of like how Barbie was for Best Comedy instead of Original Screenplay for some reason. Best Young Actor or Actress, oh boy, I think I'm going to go with the safe bet and say Isaac Wan for Dee Dee. They could say Zoe Zegler for Janet Planet, especially that movie has also gotten some love. But I'm going to go with the safe bet saying with Isaac Wan. I was a little bit hesitant to go with him because Dee Dee's nowhere else on the list, not for original screenplay, not supporting actress for Joan Chen, but they vote as Oscar predictors and not actual critics for nominations-wise. So I'm just going to go with the safe bet. On to the big 8 categories. Adapted Screenplay. After it won the Golden Globe, I feel like Conclave is probably now unbeatable at this moment. I was thinking about Nickel Boys here, but when Conclave won the Globe, I feel like they're going to just follow along with that. Original Screenplay. Now, this is where Anora could really take the win, but if it loses somehow to either The Brutalist or even The Substance, I could see The Substance taking this as well. Then Baker could be in a little bit of trouble, and he would need to, because I feel like Baker is easily going to win the Writers Guild since The Substance and The Brutalist are ineligible. It's just like where would BAFTA go as well, depending on the nominations as well. But I'm going to go with the safe bet and say Nora. Best Supporting Actress. Oh boy. I am going to go with Zoe Saldana here. I should be saying Ariana Grande, but you got to remember, the Critics' Choice usually copies the Golden Globe winners most of the time. And the fact that they didn't went with Ryan Gosling last year for supporting actor for Barbie, I think they're going to go with the safer bet and say Zoe Saldana. Supporting actor, Kieran Culkin, that's basically a no-brainer. Best Actress, I am going to go with, now after the Globe win, I am going to say Demi Moore is going to probably start potentially sweeping this season specifically, especially, I would say she is now the Oscar frontrunner, not also because of, even though the Globes and Critics' Choice might not matter, but I feel like she is the most likely to get nominated at SAG, and not to mention, for the past 3 years, the makeup and hairstyling, hairstyling category, the Oscars have a major coincide with the lead acting wins. If you looked at The Eyes of Tammy Faye, The Whale, and Poor Things at the Oscars, The Substance being the makeup and hairstyling frontrunner of the Oscars, it makes sense with Demi Moore to be the Best Actress frontrunner now. But then again, if Mikey Madison can take a win here, or they're going to go with a Wicked Fest and say Cynthia Erivo, it could be a possibility. Now, for Best Actor, Brody did win the Golden Globe, which I think I should have gone with that but then again, the Globes did like their biopics, but I think the voting process has changed here. So they really could give this to Brody since he was not nominated for The Pianist. to coincide a little bit of a curve, since they took well to the movie, I'm going to go with Ralph Fiennes for Conclave here. I feel more confident Fiennes at BAFTA than here at Critics' Choice, but I didn't predict him for the Globe, but I feel like since Conclave and Wicked shared the most nominations, I think they're going to get this to Ralph Fiennes. For Best Director, this is Brady Corbet. I almost considered Edward Berger here for Conclave, unless they go in the Wicked Fest, but I don't think they would. But I'm going to go in the safer bet and say Brady Corbet, Brady Corbet. And Best Picture, I'm just going to go with Conclave, since I have it getting the adapted screenplay, actor, and even an additional one for score. Might make sense. But then again, if Brody does win Best Actor, the Brutalists could take this as well. But then again, if Wicked does, oh boy. So yeah, that was kind of a quick, fast-paced predictions here, the Critics' Choice. I'm sorry if this wasn't really professional, it's not. But I've got a lot of things to do outside of videos. So with that being said, see you this upcoming weekend for the BAFTA nomination predictions.